Good afternoon and welcome to Morning Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and I have my co-host here with me, Cream the Cat. Show me your new collar, Cream. Yeah, Cream got a new collar. Yeah, he did, because I got tired of him not having a collar. Give it a Been giving it a few days to see if he'd lose it, but I got the largest cat collar possible, and it didn't fit him. So I got the smallest dog collar possible, and it did fit him barely. I could slip it off his head pretty easy, but he doesn't want me to because he likes it. He can slip it off his head pretty easy too. It's just kind of dangling there, but he seems to enjoy it. He likes having a collar, and I like him having a collar because I get to hear where he's at for a change. So, just got back from taking Christmas photos with the family, and now let's get into talking about Studio Series 86 Springer and comparing him to Studio War for Cybertron Siege Springer. Almost said Studio Series again. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if Michael Bay had ever put Springer in any of his movies? I mean, with all the action scenes that they had in those live action Transformers movies, they just never did it. And like, why? Why did it take you until movie 4 to bring in Hound of all Transformers? And why did it take you never to bring in Springer? You brought in the Wreckers before you brought in Springer, and that always confused me because it's Springer. He was made for war. He's one of the few Autobots that was created specifically for warfare. It just always baffled me that they didn't use him in any of the live action movies when he was a triple changer that had some really awesome alternate modes, and that would have just made that second movie. I mean, Revenge of the Fallen was kind of a crap movie. It needed a good Transformer introduced, other than that awful Devastator. And I'll stick to that one. I mean, I enjoyed the Studio Series toy, but the Devastator from the movie it wasn't Devastator. Devastator is a bit more put together and less animalistic. I don't know. That was just my thoughts on it. So let's get into talking about the actual action figure today. Stop talking about a what if with a movie. All right, so I got the Studio Series version over here. Yeah, that's the Studio Series version. And the negatives with the Studio Series version in this mode is that one, the hammer and his missile, neither of them are really acceptable in this mode. They just don't work. I mean, they kind of work. You could take off his gun and that, but they're so big that even if you put them on the side, they would interfere with the blades of the helicopter. And it's just a shame that there's not a place to store them somewhere. They could have put a place underneath, and I thought they had, because there's this rectangular cut right there on the underside of the helicopter mode, but it's not big enough to put, or at least maybe mine's a QC issue, but that hole's not big enough for this pin, and that is a shame, because like it would be a perfect place to put that missile right there underneath the helicopter, and you just can't do it. Or put it on the side of the helicopter where I have this guy, because they didn't design a place for it there, and it's a shame. It really is, because you can manage to put everything on the armored car mode. It's just you can't with the helicopter. So the way I see it is, the armored car mode is what he uses to break into the location, and then he uses all the weapons inside the location that he possibly can, and then he uses the helicopter mode to GTFO. And I think that's the way to look at it with the leader class figure here, is when he's in helicopter mode, he's escaping, and when he's in armored car mode, he's interacting. He's infiltrating. That's good. All right. So that's just something I wanted to say about the accessories. Now the other accessories, his big gun, fits on the side very well, and the helicopter blades can go over it perfectly. His small sword, his dagger or short sword, can fit on the other side, and the helicopter blades go over it just perfectly well. And then you can attach his two guns, his smaller ones that he got with, that Siege Springer came with. You can put those on either side of Springer here in a helicopter mode, exactly in those siege ports on the forearms. And all right, well, that is the big differences there, because here on Siege Springer, let's just go ahead and remove the hammer and the missile. We don't need those anymore. And slide that guy over there. There we are. With Siege Springer, his helicopter blades are made up of 3 items. They spin very well, just as well as the Siege version here. The 86 version here. Nuts! I unplugged it. There it goes. Yeah, spin. Yeah, spin. No, okay. This spin is a bit harder. This spin is a bit looser, but they both spin very well. And I have on helicopter mode here as well the 2 guns on either side, but you can also take one of the guns off and put it underneath in a siege port that's in the middle, so he has a nose gun in helicopter mode. All right. You could also plug the other gun that he came with onto the siege peg on the back side of this gun that has the 2 rectangular little pins coming out the sides. And you could do that, but I gave Siege Springer the 2 guns that have the siege peg sticking out the back, and I gave 86 Springer the 2 guns that have the siege ports sticking out the back, because why not? I just wanted to switch it up and have some fun, because of that armored car mode really works well when you have these guys. But I don't ever really keep that plugged in underneath, because it's hard to display him without a flight stand, and it's hard to find a flight stand that Transformers figures can use really well. I did have some nice ones, but after I've owned them for a few years, the acrylic went bad, and they just start snapping randomly. Like, you walk hard too close to them and they snap. It's weird how that happens. The air conditioner vent turning on has snapped a few. I gotta find that video where I reviewed them, and I've got to delete that video. I gotta take it off this channel, because I do not believe anymore that they are something you should buy. Okay, so the differences. Let's get into the differences now for these 2 guys. All right, the differences in the sculpting haven't really changed. There's not anything really new to be displayed here, except how the roof section is a different piece between the 2 figures. The tails are the same. They have the same textures on the little back fin, the little back dorsal fin. Of course, the hubcaps are different for the blades. The hubcaps for Siege Springer showcase a more kind of an understanding why this is a helicopter blade. But the hubcaps for 86 Springer don't really look like they'd make the best helicopter blades. And that spin is still a little rough in there. And that is kind of a shame. So I think the hubcap choice works better for Siege Springer in this mode than it does for 86 Springer in this mode. The helicopter blades for Siege Springer, we have there's some textures going on here, and we've got some little notches at the top of the blade. I like the fact that those 3 notches are there. It kind of gives the blade a weathered feel, like this is, Springer's been fighting with these weapons for a long time, and it's got this razor back to it, or a ridged back. It's a saw blade on one side, a straight sword on one side, and a saw blade on the other. This is a nasty, nasty sword, and they make for nasty helicopter blades. And I actually should spin one of them. There we go. That's better. Yeah, that makes more sense. But they're really cool, and I like the ridges, because when you spin the blade now, even though I can't see it, I know when the blade spins, those ridges give it the eye that you're looking at through a sense of speed and movement. Even whenever they're stationary, those 3 ridges still kind of give the idea that these things are moving, or are supposed to move, or about to move. Now on this one, we get not the same stuff. We don't have that that perception of movement that we get with the helicopter blades from Siege. Instead, we have this weird ridged blade because this one and the other one they're supposed to connect together to create a mono blade. Now, a mono blade isn't the greatest in the world for flying with, but it definitely seems like it's a nasty weapon nonetheless. That's a good way to keep a defense up. So spin this back around to make helicopter blades. It's really fun that with the 86 Springer we have a transforming weapon. I love it when my weapons transform for transformers. It's more fun that way, in my opinion. I enjoy transforming weapons. I love it when they could transform into actual things like engines or something like that that are part of the vehicle mode. That is my biggest love is whenever the weapon becomes a part of the vehicle mode. That was one of the reasons I always enjoyed the alternators because the weapons became the engines. Or in when it comes to Hound, his weapon was stored in the spare wheel compartment on the back of the Jeep. That was an amazing transformation, and I hate that I sold that one. I really regret. Like, if I ever regretted selling one Transformer, it was Alternator's Hound, because I just wish I had that one back in my collection. And I intend to get the Takara version in my collection one day, the Beneltech Hound, because Beneltech Hound was made with metal, and I just want the metal version. I mean, that was such a fun Transformer. The fact that the springs and the wheels, but we're not talking about Alternator's Hound or Beneltech Hound. We're talking about Springer. Sorry, I'm going off on tangents about my favorite toys. I should do a video one day. All right, let's continue. Well, other than those things I pointed out there isn't anything really different except in how the shoulder connections are on the front here. For 86 Springer, they're a bit wider. Like the way they connect to the front compartment leads this little space. It's not much space. It's a kind of a gap, but it symbolizes more that these things on the sides are more like pontoons that are winglets, more winglet than actual part of the core helicopter. Where on the Siege Springer, they're close, like they're squeezed in and flush with that center area, making them less winglets for a helicopter and more just parts of the core of the helicopter, and making these little uh, guns on the sides, the winglets. But yeah, guys, it'd be fun. Let's just we're just gonna do a fun size comparison because why not? Let's have a little enjoyment today, a little fun. So I got this helicopter right here, and we're gonna see how how Siege and 86 Springer line up size-wise with the Dragonfly here. All right, so let's see. Springer here is about the size of the wing on the side of the helicopter. Actually, we could just rest Springer up there. That's fun. Hey, the helicopter grabbed that. All right, now we got another Springer here, and we can just go ahead and set him over here on this side here. There we go. And yeah, I think that's a lot of fun. What do y'all think? Can y'all even see this? You know what? I'll scoop my chair back, and we're just going to see if we can balance it. Because I mean, why not try? All right, lowering it. All right, there we go. That's a attack helicopter with transformers as its missiles. Oh, be worried, be scared. He's got transforming drones. All right, well, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching today's video. If nothing changes, this is the last Transformers video before we do our top 10, top 11 of Transformers of 2024. That video will be coming up in the next few weeks, unless anything changes. But, you never know. I get gifts on Christmas time and around then. So I may get gifts of Transformers to talk about on the channel here. And in which case, there will be at least one more video about Transformers. But until then, I hope all of you have a wonderful day. I've got some content lined up for next week. That will be about some 1/12 figures that I'm finishing the year out with. And one of my subscribers and friends gave me a a gift for Christmas and to talk about on the channel. So we're going to do a box opening for that. I think that would be a lot of fun. So tune in next Prime. I'll see you tomorrow morning for the next Advent calendar. Well, I won't be seeing you, but you know what I mean. Bye bye for now.